Welcome back, Eggoids, as we venture into episode 2 of Honey, I Joined a Cult. And as you can see, all the current Eggoids are sleeping peacefully, including me, the exalted one. There, Eggington, up in the top right hand corner. So, after the first episode, you can see we've crossed into day 2, and it's just gone midnight, so everyone is peacefully and tucked up, and there's nothing going on anywhere in the compound, because, as I say, everyone is having their kip for the night. Now, after the last episode, I put up that you can get a cultoid, or also an eggoid, named after you if you claimed one in the comments. Now, there are a few comments in the chat from, let's say, co-presenters and owners of the show, so I'm trying to, for the purposes of this save, avoid the nepotism that is anyone who actually produces content on the channel getting on here. But we do have our first official watcher eggoid, so I figured this was a decent chance to show you a little bit more about what the eggoids do in the menu around those. So let's click on our eggoid menu, and you can see a little bit more detail about them. So there is myself, full health, little bit moody, and not liking the food, not liking the room, and drained from our sermon. But we have all our characters here, so let's have a look at Bob Monero. He is a new eggoid. He is tired. He also does not like the food, and he does not like the room. So there's probably something here for me to look at in this edition of, let's see if we can spruce people's rooms up a little bit to see if we can make it more of a pleasant experience for them. I can't really do anything about the food at the moment. We're very basic with our requirements. I've got Bob up on the side, and we'll come back to him in a minute. This shows us what skills and traits that the current eggoids have. Now you can see Amy Leaf is our superstar eggoid with all of this here. Now everyone else is, in the nicest possible way, at a very generic level. So we'll talk about leveling up as and when that happens. And here we can look at priorities. So as you saw in the previous episode, a bit of a free-for-all, but I think as we start to level up people's skills, we'll start to actually assign them primarily to some of the jobs that we have here. So, making the best of the skills that we've got. And last but by no means least, here is their workday schedule. So as you can see, everyone wakes up at 5, they start work at 7, they will lunch at 12, they start work again at 2, and then we stop work just before 8 o'clock. Wow, that's a good old day, that, isn't it? For no money. Right the way up until the sermon at 10. So I don't seem to do much work, is the honest truth. I want to be honest with all of the eggoids out there, is you ain't going to get much out of me in a working day. So with that in mind, to try and reduce the amount of time that we might have a post not actually being fully utilised, I'm going to fiddle with this schedule a little bit. So we are going to highlight where they are, where they're having their lunch, etc., to make this a bit more of a palatable experience for the followers who are coming in. So I figure if we have maybe 2 at a time and then 1 there. So let's say you are going to have your lunch between 1 and 2, and yep. So again, trying to maximise the amount of time that we have across the day where people are working. Now, if we can convert some followers into eggoids, then we can probably get even smarter with that. However, by that time, you would hope that we would be moving into a situation where we had more jobs that needed filling. So again, finding that balance, always going to be key. But anyway, the main bulk of this is our staff member here. So currently is known as Bob Monero, but it's time to rename. So I'd like to welcome in our first watcher, and it will be Berkey, and I'm hoping I can get away with just a singular name, because like Madonna. Or, no, it's making me have a surname, so let's go with, because everyone likes this, A. Berkey, for some really weak punnage as well. So, pleased to have you on board, mate, and at this time, obviously, for anyone else watching this, drop your name in the comments and tell me that you want to become an Egoid, and you will be part of the gang. So, let's have a little look at A. Berkey. So, as we say, mood is okay, health is okay, status using bed, dirty mattress. Yeah, let's remind ourselves that it's a dirty mattress, and it gives us what he will eat. At the moment, not much of an issue. He's not getting much of a choice, but let's see what A. Berkey has to say about himself. Apparently, he likes to eat egg with a brush from a boot. He was previously a tramp. I'm sure he'll love that. He shouldn't be fed after midnight. Well, no chance around here. He aspires to own a death laser, so let me know if you do aspire to own a death laser. And sees suggestive shapes everywhere, and I think we all do to a certain degree. However, let's pin that on him. So, looking at some closer parts of the details. So, hunger, well, you know, when he's hungry he can eat. Energy will be low because we've had our first day and he's now currently sleeping, which should replenish that. Bladder, well, you know, again, he's a grown boy. He can use the toilet when he wants to. I'm hoping that he keeps his hygiene to a reasonably, or as high a level as you can with our bathroom facilities. Fun. Now, this is something I mentioned in the last one about research development of trying to get the recreational room researched and up and running so that fun level doesn't drop too far, because I think that will impact people's ability or happiness and general productivity around. And prestige, well, you know, he's not really got any prestige in any rooms that he's linked to, because I haven't included anything that actually assists that at the moment. Saw previously about the mood. Traits, it's very poor. So a beginner one, let's say. Brooding, takes a longer time to recover from a mood break. Writes names and dates in a revenge book for later. Now, this is one of the things I love about the game, is I don't have a revenge book that I write things in, but I do have a long list in my brain akin to this. So wrong me and you will appear on that list forevermore, and revenge will be dealt at some point in the future. Is a serial liar, so negative effects when leaving cults are half. So that's probably not so bad, because for us, no one believes him anyway because he talks a lot of tut. Volatile, more likely to suffer a mood break. He's gonna flip. So, Mr. Berkey, that's who you are in this world, and that's what we're dealing with here. And got dirty hands. However, one, please use the bloody sink that's been provided. And I know it's not the best facilities, but I can't help you if you grubby little mites don't actually use the facilities in there. So let's look at the level. Well, at the moment, he is level 1. So you can see he's 0 against all skills. Now, here we have the experience bar, and as he completes more tasks and does his daily bits, that experience will increase, and there's things that we have used and we've seen already that modify the experience. But when that pings up and he gets to level 1, maybe, just maybe, we can improve one of the skills, and maybe that will give us a little bit of direction as to what his long-term job will be. Now, as you can see, at the moment, not assigned to any particular rooms, but I think I will wait. I will have a little look and go, what skill set do I want to upgrade when we hit the leveling up? And scheduling, which we've already seen. 12 o'clock lunch, and as I know, Berkey, you will not like a 12 o'clock lunch. Tough, mate. You're in my world now, so you get the 12 o'clock lunch. So that is our staff member. Now, there is one thing that was noticeable on this screen, which I think is something that we can now do. So, assign a bed. So let's give our boy his actual bed. So that is your bed. And while we're doing it, let's have a little look at the rest of them and let's assign them all a particular bed. Because isn't it nice to know where you're going to sleep for an evening? So there we go, a bed. Amy, little superstar leaf, bed. And last but not least, Aria and bed. So, looking at what we're going to try and achieve in day 2, and we will zoom along in time in a little while to get us closer to their 5 o'clock wake up time. Well, we need to address our injury. Now, as I say, hopefully that will address itself by Amy recovering over a period of time. But ultimately, what I think we need to look at today is building up a little bit of cash, improving the prestige of these rooms and the decor, because as we know, the Egoids don't like their rooms, and I think that will actually impact us when we come to things like the Great Nest. So if the Great Nest isn't seen as a very prestigious place to come to, people are less likely to come to it. So we'll go through the decor menu, and without breaking the bank, let's make this place a little bit smarter. And of course, our other big goal for the day is completing the research for the recreational room, which will then lead to, as ever, greater costs as we build up a recreational room to try and give the Egoids a place to have fun. Now, we ended yesterday with 5 followers, and the hope is that hopefully, if we do a good job and we don't annoy any of these people, we may well be able to turn followers into new Egoids. So with that in mind, let's skip on ahead a little bit and let's bring ourselves back when the day is live and the Egoids are working again. And we're back for the workday starting. Now, as I was zipping through time, you do see some of the odd quirks of what the characters do, and we'll capture some of these as the game goes on. But I woke up earlier than everyone else. Everyone else got up at 5, and for some reason I got up at 4:30 and went straight to the kitchen and ate, whereas everyone else, when they got up, washed themselves, cleaned themselves. So obviously says something about my mentality that my first thought in the morning was a bit of food. But as you can see, the Egoids have gone off to start their working day, and we have Amy here in the research office, which is probably quite good for us, and she has actually just completed the research, so we'll click into that in a second and get cracking on the recreational room. But Berkey has started off in the Great Nest, so there to make all of our followers happy and keep them engaged. Got Aria on the front desk, and Natalie in charge of the meditation room, and again, very popular place. People rushed in this morning to get some meditation on. So let's get the research tab open. And before we move to the research tab, let me just say the injury status has gone. No one is injured. So Amy in the night did actually manage to recover, and I think that's something we'll have to have a look at. But bearing in mind, Berkey also had an issue with hygiene and cleanliness, I think that's going to be something that will probably keep us on our toes and probably start affecting us even worse until such a time as we actually sort out these bathroom facilities. However, there are a few upgrades down the line. So let's unlock our research. So new room, used by Egoids to increase their fun needs. So all about the fun here. Now a return. Now we could straight away go into our next level of research, but at the moment I can see that Amy is popping off after researching to do some work in the maintenance room. Now nothing on site is broken from what I can see, and I don't know how essential the cleaning is. God, what a terrible sentence out loud, but the cleaning is during the day without that. But I think while we're setting up our new area, I think we'll have a little period of time where she can work maintenance, because then if we do get any breaks for anyone else in an essential area, then she can jump in and take over. For example, I can see here cheekily off in the right hand side, a new potential follower. So hopefully we'll be able to get another follower in and that will actually manage to convince him to stay. But priorities first, let's have a look and let's see what the recreational room requirement is. So this suggests that we have a 10 by 8 room. So I think let's go with the recommended room size, money permitting, and this tree is really annoying me. So I am going to try and build over that or around that so that we can actually get rid of it. Because the OCD side of me is getting very, very frustrated by it. Now, what says fun room better than a metal room? I have you ask, but probably everything. But let's get that off here because I'm thinking we can also build corridors out to it at a certain point if we fancy. So there's our 10 and there's our 8, and also for me it makes sense that it is in and around this sort of area, which is more our living quarters more than our working. Now, what fundamentally have we learned about everything we do is you need a door. If you can't get in and out, then it's no good. Now, I've done it again. I've gone straight past cell door, which is my door of choice, and we're going to have it there. And we need to allocate this as the recreational room. There you go. Now, let's see what you can get in that room and what the room specific objects are. Now, looking at this, it's any entertainment. So it seems to be primarily board games. Now, I'm sure there'll be more to unlock. However, let's see how much this is going to cost us. So they're not cheap. Dominoes, ruble cubal puzzle, a slot machine, and a vinyl record player. Now, what at base level we're going to have a domino table because it's cheap, and I think we're going to have 2 domino tables, and let's have a couple of ruble cubal puzzles, and I'm thinking there is 5 in the eggoids, so they're not all going to be in there at the same time, but that allows 6 people to do something. Now, these have higher prestige, but let's have a look at the submachine. Replenishes the fun of an eggoid. Any entertainment object is needed to complete a recreational room. Prestige 4, durability high, fun 1. I was kind of hoping that we could do some sort of fleecy slot machine thing where by having one of those we could recoup money. So 1500, I may hold off on that first. And the record player has a prestige of 3, fun of 0.75. What was the fun for these? 0.75, 0.75. Well, I'm going to hold back on the slot machine and the record player now for money reasons. Now, I say money reasons, as mentioned earlier, I think one of the things that our rooms, especially the bedrooms, are severely lacking in is any decor. So anything to add the prestige and to make them pleasant. So I want to have a little look and go, what can we do with that first before we spend anything more on the recreational room? So let's look at our decor. So what would people want in their bedroom? Well, everything's $300 apart from a light fitting, but that brings no prestige. So it's going to cost a few quid here, but as it's the 70s, let's give everyone a lava lamp in their bedroom. And if they don't like that, there's something wrong with them. So there we go, lava lamp, lava lamp, lava lamp. So we're now down to just over $3,700. Now, the maintenance room, I mean, I'm sure we'll put some prestige in it at some point, but ultimately at this stage, it's a maintenance room. Same with the bathroom, that has bigger problems, but I would like something to go in the canteen, because you want something to look at, and what better than a potted plant? And let's have a look at our other rooms. Now, I'm thinking in the lobby, it might be a decent idea to spruce that up a little bit. And again, I would have gone potted plant, but let's saying that, yeah, let's put a nice little flower in there so that when people come in they feel warmed and welcomed, and maybe something for the meditation room. But do we have anything? I'm going to say meditatey, not a real word, but we're going to go for it anyway. So what can we put in the meditation room? There's nothing particularly exciting from that standpoint, is there? So nope, nothing in there. Although, as much as I said about the bathroom, let's not put anything in there. Let's put a little mirror in the bathroom so that people can check themselves before they leave. So 2,853. Now, as I've said in the previous episode, money is clearly going to be one of the crunch points in this game. So there's a part of me that says don't blow all the money you've got. However, obviously always means in life, I'm going to do exactly the opposite of what I just said. But because we've still got another little bit of money, let's get the record player in, and we'll look at the slot machine at a later date. Look at that. Record player gets 4 people apparently around it, all weirdly just staring at the record player, but doesn't necessarily mean right. So let's face it that way. Oh, actually, no. Let's put it up against the wall. So there you go. So Rec Room now is kitted out, or as kitted out as it's going to be. Or is it kitted out as it's going to be? Because it's a Rec Room, it probably needs something in it that ups its prestige. So let's put a small bookcase in there. And now, and I realise I may change my tune on this in a couple of seconds, but I think bringing that down to just under 2,000, I think that will probably be my spending for the day, dependent on anything breaking or dependent on any followers coming in and doing anything to up our amount of money or the amount of return. So let's have a look at the research. So we've researched the maintenance room and we've researched the recreational room. So it has opened up the spirit chamber, which I went over, the energy spa, but now we have the leader's sanctum. Now this sounds cool. A mood boost. So a mood boost allows a leader to boost an egoid's mood at the cost of influence. And a recreational room upgrade. Now we've just got it in. So I know it says it unlocks new objects, but I think getting fun on the agenda early discounts that one for me for now. So let's have a look at the leader's sanctum. So this is used by the leader to discover dark divine inspirations. So this will be a room that I think we will need. So I think that will up our faith, which will be required for lots of stuff that we do. However, we still have this that we can do, which is the last of the, let's say, opening elements of research. So PR missions. PR missions periodically become available on the world map. Now, it's not the most essential or the most resource bringing elements of the game. However, I'm hoping that by using PR missions and by raising the cult's attention, raising the attention of the cult, to the outside world, that will bring in more followers, you can become more egoids, etc, etc. So let's get our final rung of the first ladder in play. So we will kick that open, and that will also allow us to unlock missions. So now that that's all in play, we'll see through the day. Now, I am quite interested to see what happens with this little fella. Yep, it is a fella, unknown male, as to whether we can get him in as a follower. But I think we'll have a little look at that, and then what we'll do is we'll skip through the day, and I'll bring you back at any point when it gets exciting. Not that it's not always exciting, but I realise that probably watching the odd character here and there do a bit of cheeky meditation might not. So how are we doing, Aria? It's not looking good, and yeah, we failed. Now that does seem to be a thing, so I'm hoping that we start to see some level ups in a not too distant future. But let's cut away now, and as I say, I'll bring you back when something happens. And we're back in the mid-morning, so just coming up to 11 o'clock, and as you can see down here in the corner, we've got a little a attention grabbing for leveling up, and over here we can see a level up symbol over Amy. So let's click and see what our leveling up does. I don't go through these bits because they're unlikely to appear again, or I ain't going to show them if they appear again. So leveling up. Egoids gain experience by performing tasks and going out on missions. By working hard, they can level up and improve the skills. Key element there, by working hard, all future Egoids, and this is coming directly from me, the boss. So we can spend skill points to make your Egoids are more proficient in specific areas. Hover over each skill to see more information on what area it affects. So as I mentioned earlier, I think we'll use this to start targeting our Egoids to be particularly proficient at certain areas that we have. I showed earlier before we cut away that we didn't get a follower in for the lobby, wasn't convinced, didn't like it, and that has been quite common. Now that may well be to do with prestige and influence of the cult, but also I think we can potentially get more people in if we level up a good receptionist, let's say. Now let's have a look specifically at Amy. Now Amy starts off already a little bit up on everyone else because she had skills. Now I don't particularly want to use someone with the already initial extra quality as the lobby person. I think that's something that we can build up, or when we get better Egoids, and I'm very careful when I say that, you're all equal in my eyes, but better ones, we can use them in some of these more functional roles. However, let's have a look and see. So empathy. Empathy increases influence generated by followers in therapy rooms, increases the speed followers learn in module rooms. So 2 rooms that that is effective in. And in infirmary, which is way off down the line, increases healing speed. So that looks quite good, although I think initially not as impactful as maybe something else can be. So bluffing increases influence generated from followers in the Great Nest, increases recruitment chance in the lobby. So as I said, you know, like the lobby is the key element to getting in, but I guess when we actually get them into the Great Nest, we want to see the influence gains. Butchery increases healing speed in infirmary, increases cooking chance in kitchen. Well, we have no infirmary, we have no kitchen yet. Now, you could argue that if I was long-sighted, I may well, or future planning, should I say, rather than long-sighted, I may well consider buffing the skills up or something, but I'm all about now at the moment. Espionage increases planning speed in covert ops. So covert ops increases mission planning speed, and in the research office increases research speed. So of interest because we are researching, and we have used her a bit for that. Intel, again, a research office increase and a healing speed in the infirmary. Planning in covert ops and research speed. Retail. So this increases money gain in therapy rooms. Now this does interest me. I do think we need to start generating cash, because if we're going to build new rooms, we need it. We have seen a slight tick up in the money. As you can see, we've gone to 2,100, but with the followers at the level they are, we probably need to start enhancing that. Recruitment office, we do not have yet. And improvisation, so they're good in the kitchen, good in the maintenance room. Social, good in the module rooms, good in the lobby, and public speaking, so good in the Great Nest and good in the recruitment office. So I think that we probably want to, and in fact I've got quite a desire to use Amy primarily in the Great Nest. With that in mind, I quite like this bluffing, because it means we can transition to her to Great Nest and lobby. So let's increase her up in that, and let's start getting there. So now she is upgraded. Now what is the point of the upgrade if she isn't going to work in those areas? So let's do high priority. So preaching will be a high priority, and reception will be a high priority. Now with that in mind, because generally they've gravitated that, let's go over to Berkey. Oh, and Berkey how do I decide where to put you? Well, at the moment, with your lack of skill, oh god, I'm going to hear about that in the comments, let's ping you in as a maintenance technician, and let's ping you in as a researcher, because that tended to be where Amy would do her roles. And hopefully, in fact, let's see how your skills are going. Not that. You're not far off the level up yourself, my son, so we can pump your skills into those. Although I don't think there's something that necessarily matches both of those. So again, might have to particularly specialise you. But there we go, the first levelling up. So let's ping on in time, and as I say, we'll pull you back in for any level ups, followers, or new egoids. Well, what is lunchtime without an egoid injury? Now, I think I've actually shown this indicator on previous ones, but let's just ping it up. So here we go. Aria, she's got a throbbing forehand. The reason for it is dirty hands whilst eating, and that means that for 8 hours, she will have a -1 penalty to all skills, which, as we said, is not good. Now, we need facility upgrades. We need to almost enforce the cleanliness by providing them better conditions. I understand that, but my god, you dirty little egoids, start washing your hands more. Nothing we can do at the moment because it is not required treatment, and plus we don't actually have any way to treat anyone, so we're just going to have to lump it. Now, as you can see, reception is unmanned because it is 12:30 and we're starting to hit the lunch break zone, and we've got someone on their way in. But more importantly, and probably more impactful, is 2 more upgrades. So it feels terrible. I'm going to upgrade Natalie while she's using the toilets. So let's have a look. So as we said, we now got a specialised Amy who is looking at reception and looking at the Great Nest. So if we're looking to apportion out a role here, I mean, we could actually focus her onto the meditation studio. So if we are going to do that, again, let's have a scan through here and let's go what helps with. So empathy increases influence generated by followers in therapy rooms. So that might be quite good, but let's just check to see whether we've got any other skill here that is particularly suited to therapy rooms. We mentioned this earlier. Now, I know we don't have the recruitment office, but we also don't have the infirmary, which this also increases, but let's have a quick look. So, I'm all about that money. So let's improve the retail. So base skill is 1, base skill is 2, and as I say, we've got her focus primarily on the meditation room, and of course if at any point we get the recruitment office, then we can put her as a dual post in there, but as it stands, nope, therapy all the way. You focus on that. Now, our very own real life cultist A. Berkey, who is washing his hands, I'm so proud of you. He has 2 skill points available. Now, we chucked him as a researcher and a maintenance technician. So let's have a look and go. That doesn't help either of those. That doesn't help either. Maintenance room, yes. No. Maintenance room, covert ops. Research office. Nope. Nope. So not a lot of choice there. Now, as I've got him in both, I do think that I'm more interested probably in the research speed increasing. Not to say that maintenance isn't important, but I think that is going to be more key along the way. So he is now a base skill of 2 on research. So we should see our research projects deliver a lot quicker. And I'm sure as we go through them more and more that they are going to have longer and longer time restrictions. So having someone in that area probably very, very handy for us. So all of our current egoids are upgraded as far as they can. And before we cut away, let's see whether anyone bothers to leave their break or to come back from the toilet and actually help out our unnamed male to see if we can get another follower. Because so far today, despite getting 5 followers yesterday, absolute zilch on the follower count. So let's see if we can get you in. I imagine you're waiting patiently. Oh, look at this. They've picked. Oh, come on. No, meditation room. Now, this ain't the time of day when you want everyone and their brother wanting to come in here. Now, I wonder, when I saw the pot plant, I must admit there was a sneaky bit of me then that thought, having the pot plant, is that going to help us? Now, Amy, what have you done? So despite increasing the skills and her ability to recruit people better, still they're rejecting us. Might be something that we'll have to have a look at, but it seems to be that point today. Everyone's having their lunch break, so they're all rushing in to see whether they want to join a cult. And there you go, a little phrase. I was going to say a live follower, but I just saw the little message that they put out. Praise Egg Eggington. So looks like Amy's starting to turn it around. Anyway, we'll see how the rest of the day goes, because we'll head towards the sermon this evening, and again we'll probably take a break point in the video in the episode at that to go, let's come back for day 3. Although here we go, another upgrade. So Aria, so what is Aria been up to? Now, have I apportioned you any jobs yet? So no, so you're floating. So we've got Berkey covering maintenance and research. We have Natalie primarily in the meditation, and we have Amy working between the lobby and the Great Nest. Now, we will probably have another room in the next day or so in game, but for the time being, I think if we team these two up, so if we look at Preacher and Receptionist again, and the skills, the bluffing, as you can see here, -1 on everything, but still injured, so that will clear up. However, get you into being a good bluffer as well. So currently showing a skill level of 1, but that will tweak up to skill level 2 once the injury's gone. Now you can see here, this is something that we haven't really looked at before, but your egoids have a faith cost. So you don't get money, but you do get paid in faith. And every time we upgrade these skills, that does actually become impactful for the amount of faith. So we need to produce faith. So our sermons need to be good enough so that we're actually sustained on that part. Again, like most sims, and I am really enjoying this one so far, but it is so much about balance. You know, it's about producing that good engine, so you're producing enough of everything so that you're not seeing issues along the way. And of course, the uncontrollable issues, or uncontrollable at this point, are things such as injuries. Now, looking at what we've got here, so we have allocated her on. Now, if we go back to the egoid screen, we can see how our breaks are worked out. Now, let's be smart and let's go with putting Aria and Amy on a different lunch schedule, as they kind of cover each other's roles. There you go, and by more luck than judgment, me and Berkey, we have our lunches together. Much like reality, that's not true, never happens in reality. So let's push the day on, and I will bring you back probably when our research is complete, and you never know, it may even unlock a mission that we may look to go at. There you go, we get towards the end of the working day, and we know that's a lie because we shot a scheduling and we work these people to the bone all until 8 o'clock. But traditional world, where end of the working day, we're getting towards 5 o'clock, and Abe Erkey is off to the toilet. However, before he did, he got his research completed, bless him. So PR missions periodically become available on the world map. Now, there is a mission kind of appeared, so we'll have a look at the mission first before we trump back into the research to see what we're going to research next. So, as the game tells us, we now have access to PR missions. We can finally start making a name for ourselves. By getting out there and working hard to build our reputation, we'll be able to elevate our status and gain the interest of more reputable people. So, in theory, we should start to see potential increase in followers based off of PR missions, and again, no offense to the current egoids, but a better quality. So coming in with more skills and potentially the ability to level up more. So an unintentional cut there, and as much as I like to do a bit of editing now, also like to keep the odd bit in there, just so you all realise that this is a big learning curve here. Right, so let's have a look at our mission screen. So now we have the mission screen, and we can see the city map of St. Michael Bay. I didn't pick that. It is what it is, and it is what it comes with. And we've got things like the courthouse, the homeless shelter, the university. What is over there? A farm. But periodically, and I think probably at most, certainly initially, once a day, you may well get a PR campaign that you can do. So let's click on the PR campaign and see what the mission can do for us. So this will participate in a channel shut-face segment about growing additional hair as necessary at the radio station. Now potentially the rewards are a PR rating increase, 270 XP per egoid, which, you know, XP for egoids, going to get closer to levels up and better skills, more faith, more influence, a higher PR rating, but a heat rating. So heat, the more heat we have, the more likely we will have protesters outside negatively impacting us, and police raids. So do we want to take on heat at this point? Possibly. I mean, it might be worth it. However, it's a 4-hour mission and it will expire in 23 hours. Now that will take us beyond the end of the day, and we would need to assign 2 egoids to it. So let's have a look and see what it would look like if we did that. So let's, for the sake of this, let's stick Amy in, and let's stick Natalie in. Now we have 100% chance of getting this mission completed and off the ground. Now, balance, and here we go again. Balance on a game like this. I don't think at this stage, with only the 4 functionally working egoids in the base, that we can afford to send 2 away for 4 hours, leaving things like the Great Nest unmanned, which is at the moment our only way to bring in financial recompense, and it brings in influence, which obviously allows us to then spend that to build new rooms. And also it would leave the lobby unmanned, or we'd have to stop research, or we'd have to stop meditation. So sending 50% of the cult out seems too extravagant for me, so I think we will pass up on this now. Because that expires in 23 game hours, I think that means we're unlikely to see a mission for another day. So probably day 4 we'll be looking at maybe a mission, but decision made, no mission for us. But what we can have a look at is, what do we want to research next? So now we have access to everything. So the new thing that has appeared for us is the Recruitment Office. So with the Recruitment Office, egoids will walk out to the streets to attract potentially better quality followers to the lobby. So we will be proactively going out there. Now, I quite like the idea of that. I think, again, followers is the key here. Followers is the key. Today, we slowed down a bit, and so far, we've only attracted 2 more followers than we had the day before. So that looks like it could be very vital for us. However, I also like the idea of increasing what we are doing for our followers, because I also want to get the ones that we've got converted into egoids. So the spirit chamber, followers using this will gain XP and generate influence. So it's bringing stuff into the cult, and that XP makes them more likely to want to join us. Or the energy spa. Now they are very much the same, except for this one brings in some cash money, and I do think we need to be very, very, very careful with our money. So I think we'll get the energy spa. But before I do, mood boost? No, I don't think we've got a mood problem yet. We said no to the rec room update because we've only just got that up and running, and everything arrogant in me says let's get something for me. But no, it will be the energy spa. Now, what will the energy spa lead on to? So that allows us to have more followers. So I think for our increased capacity, yes, we're gonna want to look at these three. Everything else down here is very much to do with upgrading. So to get people a good night's sleep and get their energy, the bedroom upgrade would be good. To stop this gross injuries, this may well help combat that by upgrading the bathroom. But we won't be able to do those things without cash. So let's get a way to earn more money research. So 6 hours, so again that will be on day 3, that will cap out, and it is going to use what's that, 40, but it is decided. So let's skip on and head towards the sermon. So we just passed 8 o'clock, and benevolent leader that I am, I'm allowing everyone to finish work for the day, and it would seem that everyone's priority, apart from Natalie, is to get themselves cleaned up. Probably get themselves cleaned up in time for tonight's sermon. Natalie, she just needs a toilet. So we can see money again has gone down, but we've recouped some of it during the day. So we've increased that back up to 3,194, and we'll see post-sermon what our negative money has been. But yeah, as I say, we're starting to actually get money in from our followers. Now, speaking of followers, not such a successful day. Only recruited 3 today, and disappointing because we did pump some extra skill points into that and apportion people to it. I did, as the day was going on, notice that a lot of people were still very grumpy about the idea of joining it, but the ones that have started to contribute cash money and pinging back up our influence. But let's have a look at where we are with our followers. So we currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And as you can see here, there are quite a few that are potentially looking towards becoming a future egoid. And you can see here, they've got hidden traits. So the more the traits, the more likely, hopefully, that there will be high level ones. So possibly in the next day or two, we may well be able to turn a follower or two into an egoid. Now, where we need to be careful is we currently only have 6 bedrooms, of which 5 are occupied. So again, we're looking to balance cost. There's no point in spending or recruiting people who are instantaneously going to be unhappy. Now, we could maybe have some bedroom shares, but we'll look into that depending on cash we have and space that we have. But we need to get ourselves to the end of our day, and the end of our day always will be the 10 o'clock sermon. Now this is quite nice because we still, despite the working day being over, these guys are still generating some extra cash for us. Now anyone who comes in at this point looking to join the cult, that isn't going to happen because there's no one there to work. Now we've had another injury. I'm going to put a lot of money on this being dirty hands. Green slime excretions. Dirty hands whilst eating. 10 hours and it is Berkey. Oh, Berkey and your green slime excretions. hygiene decreases 30% faster. So I don't actually know whether this is going to set off almost and what a time in the world to be talking about this, a pandemic amongst us of filthy, dirty injuries. However, I think this will be more impactful for the surrounding area. So we might need to look at maybe moving away from a bit of research tomorrow to make sure that any maintenance requirements are taken care of, and possibly, if we are lucky enough, turning one of the followers into the new Egoid and potentially having someone working maintenance permanently. I've just seen both the smell and colour are unbearable. I presume that means the slime and not Berkey himself. But we're heading into sermon time, so let's get this party started. Apparently I'm slinking off for a pre-sermon shower. So that's closed, all of them are gone, and all of the loyal and still loyal 4 Egoids. I think I mentioned this in the previous episode. Egoids can leave, and it will break my heart whenever they do. However, if they're a named Egoid, and again, get your name in the comments if you want to become one of our Egoids. If a named Egoid leaves us, and I talked earlier about the mental list I have for revenge, you will be marked for revenge, and marked for revenge forever. But don't let that put you off becoming a cult, because I love all of the members of the cult equally. Maybe I love Amy Leaf the most though. But here we go, sermon time. So the bar will pump up as I pump up and I start chanting out there the good word of the almighty egg. And hopefully this will inspire, hopefully this will make you guys work harder the next day. I would say hopefully this will make you more likely to wash your hands, because I'm hoping that's in my sermon, but so far evidence has suggested, dirty little buggers, you're not going to wash your hands. So, sermon complete. So the sermon quality was 2, so down 1 from the day before, and on the mood of Eggington over the past. So yeah, we can now see that mood will affect my sermon. So I'm guessing, again, cleanliness of rooms, the ability to sleep or having your own bed, the quality of the room, my personal tiredness is going to impact that. So again, in the balance, we're looking for money, we're looking for followers, but to plough these things back into being able to keep me excitable and engaging, hopefully for not only for our sermons but for these videos. And our Egoid capacity and Egoids taking part has remained the same. So this cost me no influence to do. It generated 135 faith. It did bring my mood down, however my energy went up, and in the last 24 hours we actually spent $3,739, which doesn't feel too bad since we created a new rec room, kitted it out and put decor around I was going to say the whole of the compound, but let's be honest, we did carve out a few rooms where we didn't bother. So maybe we're stabilising a little bit on the money. So let's see what day 3 brings to see whether we can maybe bring that down to almost minimal loss or profit. The faith has gone up. Our influence is down over the day, but of course we're spending influence every time we're doing a new room, or if we took a PR mission, which we didn't on this. PR moved nowhere, heat moved nowhere. Now, Egoid count is 4, follower count is 8, so as I say, up 3 from where we are, and the overall cult happiness not moved too much, but this feels like a good day 2. We have increased the compound, we have not gone bankrupt, no one has left us. You've seen a bit more of the game, you've also seen that you can become one of the Egoids and what that actually means. Unfortunately, this one I showed that you get injured and you get the maintenance job. However, please put in the comments if you'd like to be named or become a named Egoid. It actually does make it great fun for me. It's quite nice. Sometimes it's quite difficult to remember the names of the Egoids, the generic ones, so actually having it to commenters makes it much more likely that I remember who you are. As I say, makes it a bit more engaging for me and for you, hopefully. that'll bring us to the end of episode 2. However, please like and subscribe, and while you're on our channel, if you've liked this, there's plenty of other content. In fact, if anything, this is the most bountiful time we've ever had for content, as we have Google Stadia specific content being put out by fellow podcaster Stu. Also his gaming sessions. Me and Chris Lacey are doing a comic book related podcast, releasing once a week, and the first episode went out last week, and that will continue. I have my Funko Pop unboxing videos on a Monday, and of course we have the granddaddy of them all, where this all started, the Renaissance Men podcast, every Friday and available from that point onwards. So thanks very much, and I'll see you for day 3 in episode 3.